When you're training for vertical jump, I like to do the French contrast method because it covers mostly all the bases you need for vertical jump development, which is you need to develop force, power, and velocity, and the French contrast circuit will develop them all. So in the vertical jump protocol, I have a certain way of doing the French contrast. It's mainly, actually, it's all bilateral type movements. So I've had questions about using it for single leg jumpers. I used to be a single leg jumper, but I gained like 40 pounds of muscle since college, and my body just doesn't really like jumping off one leg anymore. At least with time, I get better, and actually, it's probably a coordination thing more than anything. So that means how you develop coordination, practice the skill more often. So that's probably primary for people that are concerned with developing single leg vertical jump is practice that skill more often, and then the weight room can actually supplement, even if the weight room is bilateral, like I have in the vertical jump protocol. But for people that have done the system for all the 5 weeks and maybe they want to try it again, I'd recommend switching it up. And for people that think that unilateral training is going to benefit them more in their jump for their jumping progress, here's an example that I would switch the French contrast up. So instead of doing the back squat with the bands, I would get a. So here's a video of a safety bar split squat, hands assisted, with the heel off the ground. That is to develop the ankle to be stronger, and it's probably actually better for the knee because then the knee will also become stronger. So anyways, here's a video of me doing the safety bar split squat with hands assisted. If you don't have a safety bar, which most people don't have a safety bar and they can't really hold on to something and it's kind of cumbersome to set all that up, you can just actually get a barbell on your back and do a split squat in that way. And if you can't do the heel up because it's uncomfortable or something, I'd say just kind of get used to it. Otherwise, you could do it with the foot flat. Just make sure on the way up you're actually driving through the big toe. And I would use the barbell on the back instead of using two dumbbells like in your hands, because then the grip is going to be the limiting factor, and you want the limiting factor to be more in your legs. So yeah, turn the back squat into a split squat. And then for the bodyweight jump exercise, which was the drop jump and the standing box jump, I would turn that into a single leg approach box jump. You could also use a hurdle hop. You could jump with one leg over a hurdle. You could do like skipping variations, skipping for height, skipping for distance. That's already in the program, so that's going to help your single leg vertical anyways, because that's kind of practicing that skill. But anyways, yeah, I'd switch that bilateral jump into a more single leg, like purely jump, pushing all that force off one leg and then getting up. So for the weighted jump, which was the dumbbell jump with the pause at the bottom, I would switch that to a split squat. So like hold those dumbbells, drop it in the bottom, hold that split squat position again with the heel off the ground, so that you're developing that ankle strength, and actually the Achilles tendon has to keep that energy in it. And jump out of that and then reset every time. Instead of jumping off two legs, now you're jumping off one, and actually kind of get that foot under the hip, because that's kind of the position where you're going to produce the force when you do the jump, is with the foot under the hip. So having that foot super extended out is probably not going to be, it's not going to be as specific. And then the last movement was the accelerated band jump, where you're pulling the bands down and you're dropping into that squat position, and then you're holding the bottom. So again, same as the weighted jump, just turn it into a split squat. And the same way it is in the vertical jump protocol, where the 5th week, where you're kind of peaking, you stop doing the holds. I mean, same thing here. So try that out. That is probably, in my mind, going to help your single leg vertical jump more than the bilateral stuff. But again, it could just be variation. If you always train single leg and now you're doing more single leg, you might not get a big boost. But if you always train two leg and now you're doing single leg, you might get a big boost, because the body kind of adapts to variation, which is kind of why I recommend so many programs like the 1x20 system, the hypertrophy cluster system, the vertical jump protocol, and kind of cycling through all of these programs based on your own motivations for how long you can stick to a program, and also depending on what your goals are at that specific point in time. But for me, as an example, I need to do different programs all the time because I just kind of get bored with things. So anyways, try that out for the if you're a single leg jumper, or if you want to do the vertical jump protocol over and kind of have a little bit of variation. It's pretty fun to do it this way, and actually you're probably gonna increase your performance and prevent a lot of injuries too, because training in that unilateral sense kind of there's a little bit more glute activation, maybe a little more hamstring too. It's just a little better, a little more, I guess, natural, because we're more often in basketball or in whatever sport you play, in volleyball, football. A lot of these are not like bilateral or symmetrical in nature, but there's a lot of single, like one leg is pushing off the ground or something. So anyways, give it a try. Hopefully that works out for you.
I do.